Some guy got arrested at the Dallas Card Show? Say what? Hello to all my sports card collector, investor, all the collectibles friends out there in the universe. I hope that you're doing great. It is Tuesday morning, sports card hobby news time, guys. I love this day of the week. I love kind of going through some headlines and talking through it with you guys. So we will go ahead and jump into it. But first, I do have to thank the sponsor for this video. As many of you probably know, a lot of high-end collectibles have become very expensive. The prices have been going up over the last year especially. And as much as I would like to own some of these items, it's just not possible. I don't have the means. What are we going to do? Well, the sponsor of this video comes in, Otis. Otis is a platform offering over 100 rare collectibles to choose from, including sports cards, video games, graded comic books, rare sneakers, with new assets coming out every week. I actually bought into a Michael Jordan red PMG numbered out of 100 here recently. I was excited to get in on that one. And I have my eye on a 2001 Tiger Woods SP Auto rookie card numbered out of 900 and a BGS 9.5. As I said, they've got new collectibles coming out every week. If you would like to check out Otis, sign up for free with the link in my video description and get your first share free when you fund your account. Terms apply. Just a couple of months ago, I was at the Dallas Card Show, the last one that was in, what was it? Was it in May? End of May? I'm losing track of time here, guys, but it was a massive show. Now, granted, I have not, been to a large card show for 30 years. So for me, that was a large card show. And I think that from hearing everything, look, I mean, there wasn't going to be the same sort of attendance that there was a couple of months back, especially with the Atlanta show going on. And then you also have the National coming up in 2 weeks. It's no shock that Dallas show was not as busy as it was a couple of months back. But I heard some good things from some of the people that had attended. So I am fired up, guys. We are, 10 days away from national time. I'm really looking forward to it. But believe it or not, a guy at the Dallas Card Show stole a Luka Doncic card worth around $5,000. The next day, tried to come back and trade or sell it to another one of the dealers at the show. Yikes. Huge yikes. I mean, talk about balls of steel. I don't know why you would try that, but I mean, here we are. So I saw it flashing kind of all over, Instagram, and there was some Lamim James on Instagram. If you don't follow him, he's had some. I mean, he always has good memes, but man, lately he's been tying them together with movie clips, and they're really, really funny. And anyway, he had one, so go check that out, Lamim James. If you're not already following him on IG. He had some really, really good ones, but he had one about this yesterday, I believe. So go check him out there. No, but this is unbelievable stuff. I guess the guy has been charged with a felony. So it's a pretty big deal. I mean, it's a huge deal. I just can't imagine trying to pull something like that off at a show. I know that stuff like this happens. I know that, this isn't out of the realm of possibility. But man, I mean, just to think that you're going to get away with it and then you go back to the same show the next day and try to offload it is just unbelievable. So, I'm really wondering, is this a prerequisite to weird stuff that's going to happen at the National potentially? I mean, the National it's such a larger scale. I guess one thing I'm interested in seeing is the security detail at the National. What is that going to look like? Because when I was at the Dallas show 2 months ago, they had security, they had police officers on site that were watching things. So what is that going to look like in Chicago or Rosemont? I guess technically it's not Chicago proper, but man, I'm very, very excited to get there in 9-10 days now. We're getting very close. So that is our first piece of news of the day. Next up, a Michael Jordan rookie card, PSA 10, went for $840,000 and the hobby is saved. All the other prices are rising along with it. Just kidding. I do like seeing the reactions from kind of these high sales because there's so many people that look at it and they're like, yes! And there's other people that are like, oh, it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. This one, so I guess this was the same guy that bought the Luka Doncic 1 of 1 for $4.2 million, like a month or two ago. I believe it's the same group or same guy that bought that card. And I guess the thing with this PSA 10 Jordan in particular is PWCC has it labeled as kind of like for eye appeal. On the site, I saw this where it was like top 5% or something to that effect, like a top 5% of example of the PSA 10 based on eye appeal. And there's people saying that like the coloring was really good. The centering was really, really good. So I guess if you are a Jordan connoisseur, if you are a buyer of this card and you feel like you've got a top 5%, if there's 300 or so of those cards and you're in the top, what's 5% of that? The top 15 to 20 cards that have been graded. So that's where I think that premium might have come from. I'm speculating. I don't think that all the Jordans are selling at 800,000 now, but I did see though that the sales have been up because this thing had come down to like $250,000 come down to only $250,000, but they had been kind of moving upward. I think there was other sales that were at like 375 and then other, 450, 500. So we're still, I wouldn't say they're all going to be selling at $800,000, but they're definitely coming back off of that $200,000 price point. And I don't know. I mean, I know Ken Golden talks about like certain supply hitting the market all at the same time is going to impact those prices because you only have a certain amount of buyers for those cards. So, maybe it's more spread out now. I really don't know. I'm not really sure. Or is it just demand coming back in? That's just something that we'll have to see how it plays out. And I don't necessarily think that the Jordan rookie is like the marker for the hobby, but it just kind of does show. I think if the Jordan rookie card went down to $50,000 or something and stayed there and plateaued, I think that would have a negative effect, or just kind of like for morale in the hobby. Whereas like these higher end sales, they don't have the same sort of morale boost, I don't think, as what would happen kind of on the other end of the spectrum. I think there's a lot of people, out there, especially with cards in general, having come down over the last 3-4 months. They're just looking for like something to talk about, some bad news to get a hold of and to chomp on it. So I get that though. I understand kind of both ends of this where you can't really get too high for the highs and you can't really get too low for the lows. I think it's got to be a cool customer, through all of these times and just kind of pick your spots. And so I think the Jordan sale is cool. It's interesting. I was watching Jeremy Lee on Sportscards Live was watching the end of these auctions. Kind of a cool thing he does on his channel where he does this, where he'll watch the end of big auctions and kind of just talk about the cards. He was looking at like there was a Wayne Gretzky, I believe it was a PSA 9 that had a smudge on the Oilers piece, and he was kind of talking through that. And he's been in the hobby for a long time to where he can kind of really go down, look at that card, talk about it. Plus, that's a card that he really understands as a big hockey collector, big Wayne Gretzky collector. So I thought that was fun. So if you haven't checked out Sportscards Live in Jeremy's channel, a lot of my viewership already has, but if you have not, definitely check that out. He's got probably the best interview channel for the hobby and that exists. So go check him out there. Next up in the news, just no big deal. Joe Orlando steps down. He resigns as the CEO of PSA. This was something that a lot of people weren't really that shocked about. I think with kind of Nat Turner's group moving in and taking the reins, it was just kind of a matter of time before this happened. Some people I heard saying like, I thought it would be more of a process, like maybe a couple years in, and this was kind of sudden. But who knows? Like they probably had already been talking about this for a while. It was probably there was probably an understanding in place, I would assume, when they took over. And maybe it was just something where, Joe has been with that company for 22 years. He started there in 1999. He became president in 2002 or 3, according to Sports Collectors Daily. And then he became CEO in 2017. So it also could have just been like, hey, I'm just looking for a change. Could very well have been. That's a long time to be with one company and just all the pressures that come along with it. And I'm sure that he's not hurting. I'm sure he got a nice payout to leave PSA. Of course, I don't know. I don't have any of the details, but I would just assume that he was taken care of pretty nicely. So, good luck to Joe Orlando. I don't know him personally. I know there's some people that, I saw the reactions. Of course, it's on on both ends where it's like, thank you, Joe, for your service. And then it's people like, good riddance, Joe Orlando. So I don't know him personally. What I do know is that company was small at one point and now is the leader in sports cards grading. So you have to give credit where credit is due. Of course, a company that's been around for 20 plus years that's in third-party grading is not going to be without its faults, or to think that a company's been around for 20 years doesn't have any little scars on it or whatever. I mean, it's impossible. It's third-party grading. That's just part of the deal. So good luck to Joe Orlando as he moves on, and we'll have to see what he does. If he stays in the hobby, if he moves on to something outside of the hobby, maybe he just wants a break and just wants to collect and do his thing without having pressures of being at a hobby company. But we'll see. That'll be interesting to find out. Last but not least, Select Basketball product is supposed to hit around when the National is. I was looking at the site. It's 7/28. July 28th is when this is supposed to drop. And I don't know if this is one of those dates where it's like, it's not really set in stone, like it's going to be pushed back. I'm not really sure. But what I can tell you is that hobby boxes are sitting on eBay right now, pre-order for $900 each. Whew. 12 cards in 12 packs in a box, 5 cards in a pack, 60 cards for $900. Now, there are 10, I was looking on eBay, there's place that's got 10 of them on pre-sale, and they're sitting there. They've sold 2, so who knows? Maybe the price comes down, maybe it does not. I don't know. But, if you know me, I don't buy new product when it comes out. That's just not my style. I like to buy singles, and I like to buy kind of already graded slabs for the most part, or maybe buy some raw stuff after it cools off of the new stuff. But I'm just not out there going to be buying select singles until the products cool off. I don't buy anything new when it comes out. But I do know there's people that, I've got hobby friends that get into breaks and get into the new stuff. So I get it. I love the hustle for the chase and all that stuff. So I totally understand the excitement around the new rookies, etc. Just not for me when it first comes out. I'm okay waiting for it. All right, guys. Have an amazing Tuesday ahead of you. I hope that you're having a good week so far. Keep kicking butt out there. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again soon.